Hello everyone and welcome to the latest instalment of Rider Pilates. We're going to be focusing on your abdominal muscles today. These are such a key muscle group when we think about the control of our spine, but also the connection between our upper body and our lower body, our contact and our seat. And I know for those of you who are here regularly, I know I go on about it all the time, but it is such an important concept to have that connection between upper and lower body. We're going to keep it quite simple today so that if you are new to Pilates or you just want to have a quick, easy run through, this is going to be a great session for you. So let's just start off thinking about your posture and position before we do any exercises. Starting at the top with that nice light head feeling and the elastic spine, allowing you to float upwards. And it's a really useful little technique to practice that feeling so that you can transfer that into the saddle as well. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed and back and down, open at the front. Focus on breathing into the base of your lungs. Feel that you can take your pelvic floor lift up onto floor 3 without taking that breath in. And check that you've got equal weight through your seat bones. Then you're going to pop your arms across your chest and turn your shoulders from side to side, and as you turn, keep your shoulders level and keep the weight through your seat bones equal. Many of us tend to load one side. It's really hard to work on that sort of thing when you're in the saddle because yes, you get the feedback from the horse. If you suddenly go straighter, the horse will probably change, but it's easier to work on it when you haven't got to think about what the horse is doing. Let's swap, so your legs are crossed the other way, your arms are folded the other way, and we'll just do a few more. Almost all of us naturally always choose to cross our legs and arms the same way, so it's good to practice sometimes just making yourself move slightly differently, but still making sure you can be level, top, bottom, in between. Okay, then keeping your arms across your chest, just arch your shoulders backwards. This is quite a nice one to do if you are sitting in a chair with a firm back that sort of comes about 1/2 to 3/4 the way up your back, and you can just sit and arch over it. And it's a great way to counteract the sorts of positions that we often find ourselves getting into. There's nothing wrong with being in these positions, but we need to be able to go into these positions as well, not just for our back, but also for the muscles. They need to be able to be strong from here all the way through to here. Okay, we're going to pop onto your back and we're going to start off working your tummy muscles with the abdo prep exercise. So if you can have your feet and knees approximately hip width apart, with your hands onto the floor beside you. Find what feels like your neutral pelvis position. Remember, it doesn't matter if your pelvis tips this way or that way a little bit, just go with what's neutral for you. Think of imaginary ropes running from your ribs to your pelvis. Keep them in position, pelvic floor onto floor 3. Float your hands, reach for your toes, and then look between your legs. Take everything back down together. So it's pelvic floor, float, reach, look between your legs, and take everything back down together. Try to avoid imprinting through your low back. We're trying to keep your low back still for this exercise, and we're focusing on moving through your upper and mid back. It's really useful to be able to isolate movement to certain parts of your body. You don't necessarily always want to be moving the whole of your spine. Sometimes it's just certain parts of it. Make sure that your hands are reaching towards your feet, not your knees, because that tends to encourage more of a sit-up type movement. And we're being quite specific with what we're doing here. One more. Okay, we're going to move on to doing your hundreds exercise. You've got 2 ways of doing this, and if you want to make it hard, you can go into your tabletop, but sticking with feet on the floor today. So pelvic floor, rib position, then you're patting the imaginary puddles of water. Now you can keep them in this position, or you can keep them out to the side, but for a little bit of an extra challenge, see if you can keep them on the move. So you're patting with each time you move your arms out and each time you move your arms back in. You're moving from your shoulders, not just your wrists. We're thinking about trying to develop strength around the shoulders as well as keeping that tummy position neutral. So you might be thinking, well, this is an arm exercise. But if you are successfully keeping ribs to pelvis, keeping your body neutral and not flopping, you're working your tummy muscles gently but securely the whole time. And that's the key, really. They don't have to be working really, really hard. Sometimes they're just ticking over to give you that nice, stable base for your arms to move from. I'm going to do one more. Okie doke. We're going to move on to doing the double leg stretch exercise. We'll start off just with the legs, then we'll add in the arms. So for your legs, you're going to slide one leg straight, back up, and then the other leg straight and back up. And as you're doing that, keep those ribs to pelvis connected so that as you straighten your leg, you don't find yourself arching upwards. Let's add in your arms, and you're going to take your arms over your head and back up. So you coordinate, you synchronise your arms with your leg. And again, as you get to this point, watch that you don't creep upwards through your ribs and tummy. This is where your abdominal muscles really come into play. Keeping you stable in the middle, a stable base for your arms and legs to move from. Don't forget to breathe. One more with each leg. Okay, then bring your arms back down. We're going to move on to doing your scissors exercise. Again, before you start, think pelvic floor, think of your rib position, then one leg up to tabletop, back down, and then the other leg up to tabletop and back down. And again, like so many of these exercises, it never just targets one particular part of your body. And yes, this is a hip exercise, but you need to use those tummy muscles to keep you stable through here. And again, they're giving you that stable base, each hip to be able to move from. If you can, remember this is a wine glass exercise. So the leg that isn't moving, you want to have it still enough to have that glass of wine balanced on it. Keep breathing, keep the pelvic floor going, keep thinking ribs to pelvis. One more each way. Okay, then we're going to turn onto your side, and we're going to do an exercise called the side bend. If you have got any shoulder problems, you may find you just want to do the arm and leg part of this, but see how you get on. Otherwise, I'd like you to be propped up onto your forearm, legs into what we call the capital L position, then it's pelvic floor onto floor 3, and you're going to lift your pelvis and your top arm and bring them back down together. You're synchronizing lifting and lowering. Keep it smooth. So if you are doing this just with the arm and you want to make it harder lying down, you can see if you can do the arm and leg together like so. Otherwise, we're just going to stick to lifting and lowering. So we're creating this movement partly around your hips and pelvis, but also using your oblique abdominal muscles, helping you into that lift and controlling you back down. Do one more. Okay, we're going to turn around and do exactly the same thing on the other side. Same thing, if you've got any shoulder discomfort, do this flat, and you can just do the arm, or you can do the arm with the leg elevated. It's entirely up to you. If your shoulders are okay, into this propped up position, and we're synchronizing lifting and lowering the arm and the pelvis. I love these coordination exercises. They're good for the brain, but they also really mimic how our bodies work all the time, particularly in the saddle. So much of what we do is coordination. We've got multiple different aids happening all the time, plus we're looking where we're going and watching out for monsters in the hedge and so on. And we've got to do it all subtly and effectively and under control, so that with this one you're not landing in a heap. Do 2 more of this one. And then we're going to turn onto your hands and knees and have your hands just in front of your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, toes underneath your feet, pelvic floor onto floor 3, then lift your knees and slowly back down. So it's pelvic floor, lift, slowly back down. So we're not trying to do anything too fancy and complicated, keep the movement small, Don't try and lift up here, that actually completely takes the load off your tummy muscles. But you should find that each time you lift your knees just that little way off the floor, your tummy muscles, as well as your leg muscles and your arm muscles, your tummy muscles gently kick in. Remember to breathe. Keep your pelvic floor ticking onto floor 3 as well. Two more. Last one. Super job. Okay, then bring yourself up so that you are in that half kneeling position. Hopefully you can see me with the sun coming out behind me. Get your balance, then tip your headlights upwards, and then push your pelvis forwards as you take your arms up above your head, and feel the stretch down through your front and through the front of your leg you're kneeling on, and then come back to starting point. So tilt your headlights upwards. As you push them forwards, take your hands up above your head and then ease back off. I'm going to do one more. So tilt up, and as you push forwards, take your arms up above your head. Come back down, and then we're going to swap to the other side. Front to squash ant that has appeared. Okay, so again, you're tilting your headlights upwards, and then as you push them forwards, take your arms up above your head and ease back. And again, tilt upwards and push forwards. And we'll do one more time. So tilt up and then push forwards as your arms go up. And then ease back off. And we're going to finish there. So as I said at the beginning, nothing too challenging. A nice little easy session if it's new to you or what you needed today. Keep working on all of those different body parts. They all matter so much. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, because it's just wonderful every time I get new subscribers. And any comments, always gratefully received. In the meantime, look after yourselves, and I will hopefully see you on the next session. Bye bye.